What's up? We're back again. You Can't Play Boxing Podcast, episode 19. We back. So, before we get into the episode, what we're going to do is kind of get some of the house cleaning out the way. Again, you can catch us on Instagram at You Can't Play Boxing. That's UCANTPLAYBOXING. So this is going to be kind of a short episode. I want to knock one out because I haven't talked to you guys in a week. So we had Thanksgiving. Hopefully everybody had a great Thanksgiving. I spent time with family, which is always a great thing. And Thanksgiving is interesting, man, because you got a lot of cooks in the kitchen, a lot of different dishes. Speaking of dishes, like what's y'all comment on the page and tell me what y'all favorite dish is. I send an email at youcan'tplayboxing@gmail.com and tell me what your favorite Thanksgiving dish. Me personally, I like turkey. We typically kind of do a gumbo too. I like gumbo. But we didn't have gumbo this year, which is I was a little disappointed. We didn't have gumbo. So I'm gonna have to make my own gumbo. But those are my two favorite Thanksgiving dishes, personally. Sorry, I kind of sound a little bit blase blah. I'm kind of battling a cold right now, but we gonna power through and get through this episode. So last time I talked to y'all, we was going into the Deontay Wilder versus Ortiz 2 fight. I gave my prediction, and my prediction pretty much happened. In that prediction, I said I expected Deontay Wilder to win in round 7 or 8. He ended up winning in round 7. So let's kind of recap it real quick. Basically, in that fight, Luis Ortiz, he outboxed Deontay Wilder. And just looking at the fight, you would kind of think that Ortiz is just boxing circles over Wilder. But I watched the fight again. Deontay, he wasn't bothered by losing rounds. He was really just setting up for that one shot. But he was doing it so calm. Like, anytime Ortiz would try to, get a couple of jabs in there, he would just respond like, hey, I'm still here. You're not really doing nothing. And a lot of people are like, damn, you falling back on the cards. But Deontay was just waiting for the one shot. And, looking at the shot, so the first 6 rounds or whatever, everybody pretty much had Ortiz winning. I gave Deontay 1 round. Had Ortiz winning the the other 5. And, in that 7th round, kind of came real quick. Deontay was pawing with the jab and just kind of finding the range. Then he turned Ortiz until he got to the spot that he wanted to get to. And once he got to that spot where Ortiz's back was flat against the rope, he had nowhere to go. If you look at it, Deontay Wilder, his eyes get big. And then he delivered a shot where that shot was massive. You saw the sweat fly off his head, you know what I mean? So I always tell people, man, Deontay Wilder, he has flaws, but the same flaws that you guys can expose on him is the same you walking through the door of that shotgun. So in order to beat Deontay Wilder, you gotta be perfect. Outbox him, which is not hard to outbox him. He started boxing late in his career, as far as in his late teens, early 20s, which is late in boxing standpoint. But when you start out boxing, you start to get comfortable and you open yourself up. And every time you open yourself up, you put your head through that window, and he got that shotgun ready for you. So you got to duck and dodge that for 12 rounds. And he got the shotgun, or like I say, the hammer of Thor, that once he hits you with it, it's a wrap a lot of times. So Deontay goes to 42-0-1. Luis Ortiz got 2 losses. They both by Deontay Wilder, so he's 31-2-0. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to go over what's next for Wilder and Ortiz, go over the top 10 heavyweight rankings, and then we're going to talk very shortly about the upcoming Joshua versus Andy Ruiz Jr. 2 fight, which happens this Saturday. So sit back, get something to drink. We'll be right back. What's up? It's that time of the show where we kind of give a shout out to our sponsors. The sponsor today is Anchor. Anchor is everything you need to create your own podcast. You can use Anchor to distribute your show. They'll kind of get it out for you. And all you have to do is do it from your cell phone or your microphone, however you want to do it. But if you want to get your voice out there, if you want to talk to the people, there's no better place to do it than Anchor. So download the app, Anchor, or go to their website, anchor.com. It'll distribute your podcast on all platforms. So again, Anchor. What's up? We back. You Can't Play Boxing Podcast. Back with our second segment. We talked about the Deontay Wilder, Luis Ortiz fight. So what's up next for him? For Deontay Wilder, we already know what's up next for him. On February 22nd, we got a fight coming out of Vegas. He's going to have his rematch with Tyson Fury. The site, as far as where it's going to be in the MGM or T-Mobile Arena, that isn't finalized. I think maybe not even Vegas is finalized, but most people think it's going to be in Vegas. So that fight's coming up in less than 3 months. So quick turnaround for Deontay. I think that fight is going to be a great fight. Stylistically, they really match up. I think they can fight a dozen times. It'll always be a close fight unless Deontay hits him with that Thor hammer. So I'm gonna, of course, when February get here, we're gonna preview that fight. For Luis Ortiz, I don't know where he goes from here. I mean, he's a good fighter. I think he's a top 10 heavyweight. He's a fighter where he's good enough to beat a lot of the top heavyweights, but he's dangerous enough to where they probably don't want to fight him. I would like to see, me personally, I would like to see Luis Ortiz fight somebody like Dillian White, fight somebody like Usyk. I think that'd be a good test for him. Fight maybe Adam Kaunalki. Fight a few of those guys to where they need a test to see if they really real. So that would be a good fight. All those fights would be good fights for Luis Ortiz to me. So speaking of those names, it's about time for our top 10 heavyweight list. We went over the top 10 heavyweights before the Wilder Ortiz fight, and there were slight changes to it based on that fight. So let's go ahead and dive into it. Number 10, still got Alexander Povetkin. Povetkin is 35-2. He's 40 years old too, hailing out of Russia. Number 9, got somebody who's untested, kind of, but he's an up-and-comer, and he's probably going to get a title fight at some point in the next year or two if he keeps winning. Adam Kaunalki, 20-0, 30 years old, fighting out of Brooklyn, but I think he's originally from Eastern European. Number 8, got guy who fought Klitschko and lost his only loss. That's Kubrat Pulev. He just signed with Top Rank. He's older in age, 38 years old. He's going to probably get a title shot at some point too, or fight Tyson Fury or somebody because of the Top Rank connection he just signed with. Number 7, guy I just mentioned out of England, only losses to Anthony Joshua. That's Dillian White, 26-1, 31 years old. Coming in at number 6, the guy we just talked about, Luis Ortiz, 40 years old, 2 losses to Deontay Wilder. I think he's still a good heavyweight, but he is getting up there to where there's not going to be that many opportunities coming to him after that fight. But he made $7 million fighting Deontay, and Deontay made about $20 million, so can't be mad at him. Number 5 is somebody who had one heavyweight fight, but he cleaned out the cruiserweight division, and that's Alexander Usyk. He's 17-0, 32 years old. He was number 5 heavyweight. Number 4 is Anthony Joshua. He fights this weekend. Anthony Joshua, 22-1. Only loss is to my number 3 guy, which is Andy Ruiz at 33-1. They're both 30 years old. I'm looking forward to that fight that's coming up because I think it's gonna really tell what's going on in the heavyweight division. It's gonna be a lot of clarity after that fight, so I'm looking forward to it. Number 2 is Tyson Fury, 29-0-1. He's undefeated, 31 years old. And my number 1 guy is Deontay Wilder, 42-1, 34 years old. So those are the top 10 heavyweights. Like I said before, we're going to be back later this week. We're going to preview that Andy Ruiz versus Anthony Joshua fight. So expect that episode to drop later on this week. In the meantime, I'm going to try to get some rest. Got a little cold, but it's not too bad. Remember to check us out on Instagram. That's at You Can't Play Boxing. That's UCANTPLAYBOXING. You can email at youcan'tplayboxing@gmail.com. And until next time, y'all, peace.